as a historically sort of famous germ-averse person, let's say, let's not title it, right?
So you can OCD. I'm very open about my mental health. I wasn't. I come from a generation where mental health has a stigma attached to it. Mental illness or mental problems have a stigma, and I've learned really late in life that not only does it help me first and foremost to be open and talk about it and identify it and not shy away from it, but I've been told that other people are comforted in hearing other people talk about it. And you've done that too.
I certainly have tried. And so you talk about COVID. Was that in a weird way a dream scenario for someone with your ism, or was it the worst thing ever?
Worst thing ever. It's because with however I lived, and I do, for lack of a better analogy, like the most fearful person in the midst of this world pandemic, how they felt is how I live each and every day. But if there was any comfort besides the therapy and the medication and whatever I'm on, everybody around me in regular life was saying, don't worry, it's, nobody is sick here, you're not going to catch it, or we're not going to leave, or you don't have to worry, this is all clean. When the whole world joins in your nightmare, there was no respite from the nightmare that I have going on in my own head. So it wasn't comforting. It wasn't, it was, what people were trying to assure me throughout my whole life as just being something in my own head and something that I had to cope with turned into a reality. The monster that I was afraid of came to life.
Because me being so selfish and loving self-righteousness, I'd be like, it took me 60 plus years to prove to all you idiots that I was right. You're all running around with your germs, but I was right. We should all be separated.
I did sing my favorite song throughout the pandemic was "Nye nye 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 nye." I told you. So I had a little bit of that, but I didn't take comfort in living in a pandemic. I didn't take comfort. It just, because the point is, whatever your coping skills to get through your day, and I don't think there's anybody alive that doesn't need a coping skill at some point for whatever you're dealing with. It doesn't have, I think everything is connected to mental health, everything, your productivity, your relationships, your work, your, just your mood, and becoming a parent. And you have to figure out ways to make this work for you. So it just became harder, whatever my coping skill was. Mine is usually distraction, staying really busy or not thinking about it in the moment, doing something else, standing in front of an audience, trying to be funny, trying to be witty in the moment, trying to procure work, making some content or whatever. When the world shut down, it just gave me more time to worry. We were all working less, not going places, not interacting, no distraction. So it was dark.
Will you tell the story, and you've told this before, of how Purell turned on you?
Well, listen, Purell is great. I was one of the early adopters of Purell. But the truth of the matter is that I over-sanitized so much that, bacteria, what I've learned, you want to make this a science experiment?
Please.
Bacteria is, we as living creatures are an ecosystem of good and bad bacteria. We fight each other, and that's what keeps us alive. When I killed all the bad bacteria on my hand by constantly soaking in sanitizers and alcohol and bleach, I had no immune system. I killed that's how you build an immune system, by being around germs. So when I touched a door, I would, within days, break out in a wart. I would have a virus. I would have viruses all over me because I killed. I was just listening to somebody on I don't know what I listened to, that this is part of the content, but I was listening to somebody on the radio talking about people shouldn't use wet naps for ass wipes. Have you heard this?
That's crazy. I love me a dude wipe. I'm a big wipe.
I do that all the time.
Well, they said
I
that
use
you
them
could cause
interchangeably.
yourself, you can end up causing yourself an infection because what you're doing is you're killing the bad bacteria. It's good to douche it out, like if you have one of those Toto toilets that, spray it out and then wipe it or wipe it with, but as soon as you introduce like alcohol or bleach or any of these other things that are bacteria killers in that area, you throw off the balance of whatever that ecosystem is.
I want to clarify because I said something. I certainly don't use Lysol wipes to wipe my ass.
But
why
those
do you feel
interchangeably.
why do you feel that was necessary? Out of everything that you say, why is that something that you think maintains the public reputation?
I needed to clarify because that's like spraying Windex on piece of toilet paper and wiping your ass. And that is completely nuts. Out of the question. No.
Wasn't that
Would you
brought up
wipe,
as
though?
one of the possible cures for COVID, Windex? I think it was.
That all stemmed from my big fat Greek wedding when the grandpa used to use Windex to get rid of the wart.
I just love that when you're going and shopping for toilet paper, you're doing it at Lowe's or Home Depot. That's where you're finding your toiletry essentials.
Well, that was another thing. When the pandemic hit, I don't know why, it wasn't like, it wasn't a stomach virus where everybody was just shitting themselves, yet there was a run on, as soon as COVID, there was a run on toilet paper.
Right.
Why?
Because they want to be ready.
For
They
what?
were afraid to leave the house. They were afraid to run out of toilet paper. Who knows
Paper
the next time they could
towels.
leave the house?
But more than anything else, like more than any provisions, canned goods, water, like toilet paper was the first thought that anybody had. Like I don't really understand that.
It was big toilet paper. They put out the first mass hysteria.
Yes, it was
And
Charmin.
everybody went running.
Maybe.
You're blaming it on
Charmin.
Charmin.
Listen, it's a podcast. It's provocative,
It is.
right?
So it's Charmin.
Yeah, maybe Braun. Maybe they only do paper towels.
You wipe your ass with Braun?
Sometimes. Listen, don't judge my love life.
That's your love life?
Don't judge the way I have a nice time with myself.
So you put a brawny man in your ass.
Some people like 2-ply. I like 10-ply.
Wow. Do you fold or scrunch?
Are we talking about just my mom's going to hate
Josh,
this section.
there's only one right answer. Fold. Please don't tell me you scrunch.
I am a predominantly wipes guy, and then I do a quick drying swipe. But I think if you don't use wipes, you're gross. Like if you're only using dry paper back there, how are you really cleaning?
But you can afford to have like one of those Toto toilets.
Yes, in theory, I hear you. Your logic is sound.
In theory, you hear me. In headphones, you hear me.
In headphones, in all the auditory ways.
Yeah, we're the good guys, doing nothing crazy.